He whispered, "I love someone else," right after we got married. I overheard everything. And the woman he was talking about? She was standing right beside me in a bridesmaid dress. They wanted a secret affair. I gave them a public ending. I can't believe I'm typing this out, but I guess this is the best place to share. Honestly, I'm still in shock, and it's been a few days since I discovered my entire marriage might be built on a lie. Let me backtrack a bit. If you were at my wedding, you'd never suspect anything was off. The sun was shining, my gown fit perfectly, and our family seemed to get along for once. No small miracle. We had an outdoor ceremony on my grandparents' property, with a view that made guests gasp. Every single detail was planned so carefully, from the vintage string lights in the trees to the homemade berry pies for dessert. I can't tell you how many times I caught people smiling at me like, "Wow, she really got her fairy tale." And you know what? For about an hour, I believed that too. But not long after we said our vows, I ran inside to grab some photos for a slideshow. That's when I heard it, my brand new husband whispering to his best man in a side room. I couldn't make out every word, but I heard enough. He was confessing he was actually in love with someone else. My stomach dropped so fast, I swore I might pass out. My first thought was that my ears had to be playing tricks on me. Seriously, who does that right after walking down the aisle? I had to force myself to stay calm. Confusion, anger, heartbreak, I felt them all at once. Part of me wanted to barge in and demand an explanation on the spot. Another part wanted to run out the door and never look back. But the weird thing was, I didn't just hear him mention someone else, he also told his best man that this person was very close to both of them. When he said that, my head started spinning with possibilities. Close friend? A coworker we both know? Maybe someone from his family? It almost sounded like the best man already knew all about it. And here's the kicker. Instead of storming in and making a scene, which I was this close to doing, I stayed hidden. I probably stood there, trembling, for a good minute. Finally, I realized I needed to put on a face for our guests waiting outside. So I snuck back around, acting like nothing happened. It felt like the hardest performance of my life. Every guest was asking for photos, hugging me, congratulating me, telling me how gorgeous I looked. My husband, scratch that, my brand new husband, was even stealing moments to kiss my cheek and call me Mrs. Perfect. I nearly wanted to scream. What really killed me inside was that I couldn't confront him then and there without blowing up the entire reception. I'd spent months planning this wedding. My parents had shelled out a fortune, and my closest friends had flown in from across the country. The last thing I wanted was to ruin everything in front of a couple hundred people. So I tried to keep my cool, but my mind wouldn't stop racing. Who could this mystery person be? How long had he been hiding this? And why on earth did he go through with marrying me if his heart was somewhere else? I wish I could say I felt relief at the end of the night, but that would be a lie. We finished dinner, cut the cake, and had our first dance while I plastered a smile on my face. I remember looking around at one point. Guests were twirling under the string lights, raising toasts, and celebrating like everything was perfect. Meanwhile, I was numb. I just wanted someone to pinch me, wake me up, and tell me this was all some ridiculous nightmare. It wasn't until we finally drove away in our just-married car, tin cans rattling behind us, that I realized I had no clue what to do next. Should I confront him at the hotel room that very night? Should I wait until we got home? Should I ask the best man directly? A million questions, zero answers. My head pounded so badly, I pretended to be exhausted and fell asleep on the ride. I think he sensed something was off, but he didn't push it. We were both so drained from the day we barely spoke. That's how our marriage began, with a terrifying secret I stumbled upon by pure accident. Now I'm stuck between pretending everything's fine or diving headfirst into a confrontation that could blow up my entire life. Trust me, this is only the beginning. Things are about to get way more complicated than I ever imagined. If you've ever had to pretend everything's fine while your world is crumbling inside, you'll understand exactly where I was mentally the next morning. We had this fancy day after brunch planned with close family and friends at a little garden cafe. Mimosas, waffles, fresh fruit, the whole soft and romantic Pinterest vibe. I was expected to show up glowing, newlywed glow and all, but all I could think about was my husband's voice in that room, saying he loved someone else. I didn't sleep at all that night. He knocked out the second his head hit the pillow, like he didn't just marry a woman he wasn't in love with. Meanwhile, I lay there in bed with my back to him, eyes wide open, obsessing over every little thing I'd missed in the weeks leading up to the wedding. Every phone call he'd taken in another room, every late night at work, every text he tilted away from my view. I had a gut feeling something was off before, but I chalked it up to wedding stress. Now, I wasn't so sure. So, I did what any emotionally devastated woman in a white sundress and fake smile would do. I played the part. I kissed his cheek when his mom took a photo. I linked arms with him while we walked in. I even laughed when his uncle made a cringe joke about baby making time. But the whole time I was watching, listening, calculating. And you know what? The best man was acting weird, too. His name's Ryan, and I'd always liked him. Super chill, always cracked jokes at the right time, helped with setup and ran errands without complaint. But that morning, he couldn't look me in the eye. He kept fidgeting with his coffee cup, talking too fast, then zoning out. I caught him exchanging a look with my husband more than once, like a we need to talk kind of look. My husband, for his part, was either the world's greatest liar or just completely detached. He was being too affectionate, like overcompensating, holding my hand every second, rubbing my back, whispering, "I love you," way too often. And I couldn't tell if it was guilt or if he seriously thought everything was fine. At one point, he excused himself to take a call, and Ryan followed him about 2 minutes later. That was the moment my stomach flipped, because the way Ryan stood up so suddenly, like something clicked and he had to follow. It wasn't casual. It was damage control. I waited 5 minutes, then quietly slipped out behind them. I didn't get close enough to hear much, but I saw them standing at the corner of the building, talking in hushed voices, both visibly tense. Ryan had his hands on his hips, pacing slightly, while my husband kept rubbing the back of his neck, like he was stressed. I couldn't help it. I took a few photos. I needed something. Proof. Evidence. Insurance, maybe? I went back inside before they noticed me missing. When they came back in a few minutes later, both were quieter, but they tried to act like nothing had happened. My husband reached for my hand again. I let him take it, but inside, my blood was boiling. That brunch ended with everyone toasting to our long and happy life together. And the whole time, I was choking back bile. When we finally got home, I knew I couldn't keep pretending much longer. But I also wasn't ready to confront him just yet. I needed a plan. I needed names. I needed to know who this someone else was. I had a theory or two, but no proof. So that night, after he fell asleep again, because apparently guilt doesn't keep his ass up at night, I did something I'd never done before. I went through his phone. I know. It's wrong. It's invasive. But screw it. I was married to the guy now, and he'd already broken every vow we'd just made. I figured I had a right to know what I was walking into. And what I found? Well, that's a whole other storm. Alright, so picture this. It's nearly 2 a.m. I'm sitting at the edge of our bed in a dimly lit room, still wearing the silk robe from our honeymoon suite. He's snoring softly behind me like the world's most innocent man. And in my hands? His phone. Unlocked. Vulnerable. Like my whole damn marriage. Look, I didn't want to do it. I really didn't. But after what I overheard, and the way he acted all day, I couldn't not check. I just needed confirmation. Something solid. Something that screamed, "You're not crazy." And wow, I was not ready for what I found. At first, I didn't see much. He's smart. Deleted texts, locked apps, hidden folders. But I'm smarter. I went straight to the recently deleted folder in his photo gallery. Boom. Selfies. Not his. Hers. Posing in a bathroom mirror I recognized but couldn't place right away. Sitting on his lap, his hand very clearly on her thigh. Kissing. One of her in just a towel. These weren't old photos. The timestamps? 2 weeks before the wedding. I felt my stomach twist, like I was gonna be sick right there. I clicked on one of the images to see the full name in the file. It started with a C. I clicked another. Her necklace. That bracelet. The ring. My mind started spinning. And then it hit me. Cassie. My bridesmaid. My friend since college. The girl who helped me pick out my dress. Who cried when I said yes to it. Who toasted to us at the rehearsal dinner and said she'd never seen love like ours. I swear to you, the room started spinning. I remember whispering, "You've got to be **ing kidding me, over and over." My hands were shaking. I wanted to scream, break something, wake him up and throw the phone in his face. But I didn't, because now I had what I needed: proof. A face, a name, and a betrayal that was so much worse than I expected. It wasn't just someone else. It was her. The next morning, I acted normal. If anything, I was extra cheerful. Made him breakfast, smiled a little more, kissed him a little longer. I think it freaked him out, honestly. He kept giving me weird glances like he wasn't sure what I was on. Good. I wanted him off balance. The funny part? He actually tried to initiate sex that afternoon. I told him I had a headache. In reality, I couldn't even look at him without picturing his hands all over Cassie. My bestie. My freaking bridesmaid. I needed answers. And I knew the only person who'd give them to me, if I played it right, was Ryan, the best man. See, here's the thing. Ryan's not a liar. I've known him nearly as long as I've known my husband. He's honest. Uncomfortable with secrets. And from the look on his face at brunch, I could tell this was eating him alive. So I messaged him. Hey, can we talk? Alone. I promise I'm not going to scream at you. I need to know the truth. 10 minutes later, he replied. Ryan, yeah. I owe you that. We agreed to meet at a park the next day. I needed a public place. Somewhere neutral. Somewhere I couldn't throw something heavy if things got heated. The conversation that followed? It cracked everything wide open. What I thought was betrayal turned out to be just the tip of the iceberg. My husband's lies. Cassie's role in it, and Ryan's impossible situation? Let's just say I walked into that park hurt and confused, and I walked out burning with one thing. Revenge. And, oh, it was gonna be beautiful. So the next day, I meet Ryan at this little public park by a lake. It's quiet, just a few people jogging or walking dogs, which honestly felt like a blessing. I was one wrong word away from either breaking down or going full nuclear, and I didn't need an audience for either. He looked nervous when I walked up. Like, visibly sweating nervous. Sat on a bench with his hands clasped like he was waiting for a prison sentence. When I sat next to him, he didn't say anything right away. Just gave me this look that screamed guilt. I didn't waste time. How long has it been going on? I asked. No greeting. No small talk. Just straight to business. He sighed, ran his hand through his hair, and said, since before the engagement. That was the first punch to the gut. I blinked at him, trying to stay calm, even though my heart was hammering. Wait. How long before? 6 or 7 months, I think. Maybe more. Second punch. This wasn't some stupid drunken mistake at a bachelor party. This was a full-blown relationship. And it started months before he even proposed to me. I asked if he knew from the beginning, and he admitted that he didn't. Not at first. But a few months ago, he caught them meeting up behind my back. They thought they were being sneaky, but Ryan saw them together late at night, at our apartment complex of all places. I told him to come clean, I swear, he said. I threatened to tell you myself. But he promised me it was over. That he was choosing you. That he messed up and didn't want to lose you. I could feel my hands clenching into fists. And you just took his word for it? He looked down. I didn't want to be the guy who ruined your wedding. And that right there? That made me laugh. Like a real, bitter laugh that kind of scared both of us. You didn't want to ruin the wedding? I repeated. Newsflash, Ryan. He ruined it the second he started screwing my bridesmaid. You just helped him sweep it under the rug. He didn't argue. Just kept nodding like he was bracing for a punch. But I wasn't gonna hit him. I was gonna do something better. That's when I asked him if he still had any messages. Screenshots. Anything that could back up what he just told me. At first, he hesitated. Said he deleted them after the wedding to move on. I stared him dead in the eye. Ryan, either you help me now or I go to my husband and tell him you confessed everything. And let me be very clear, I'm not bluffing. He pulled out his phone without another word. 10 minutes later, I had screenshots, chat logs, voice notes, even a screen recording of a video call between them where my husband, ugh, I can barely type that word anymore, told Cassie, I wish it was you walking down the aisle instead. Let that sink in. He wished it was her. I sat there on the bench, scrolling through the evidence, feeling every ounce of love I had left in my body just rot away. I wasn't sad anymore. I was done. Done pretending. Done performing. Done crying. That part of me died the moment I saw Cassie in his lap in my own living room. I stood up, looked Ryan in the eye, and said, thanks. Now stay out of my way. Because it was time to burn it all down. I didn't want a screaming match. I didn't want to just pack my bags and leave. No. I wanted them both exposed. I wanted to peel back their perfect little secret and show it to everyone who thought our wedding was some fairy tale. I wanted to rip the mask off in front of friends, family, and anyone who ever said, you two are perfect together. And guess what? The opportunity to do that was coming up very soon. Our post-wedding party, kind of like a casual, thank you, get-together, was happening that weekend. Both sides of the family, all the bridal party, and lots of friends. Including Cassie. She had no idea what was coming. Neither did he. And I was going to make sure everyone remembered it forever. So here's what you need to know about me. I don't do messy breakups. I do precision strikes. And this one? Oh, this was going to be art. The post-wedding party was planned for that Saturday. Casual backyard hangout, tons of food, music, lawn games, the whole low-key newlywed vibe. My mom organized most of it, bless her, and at that point, nobody knew anything was wrong. They were all just excited to celebrate us again. What they didn't know was that I was about to turn that sweet little gathering into a live-action episode of Cheaters. But I couldn't just walk in and scream, he cheated with my bridesmaid. That's drama, sure, but I needed impact. I needed receipts, witnesses, and the look on their faces when the truth slapped them right in front of everyone. So I made a plan. Here's how it went down. Step 1. Get the tools. I went full detective. I took all the screenshots Ryan gave me and organized them into a clean slideshow. Yes, a literal PowerPoint. Messages, photos, that video call where he said he wished it was Cassie at the altar. I added captions. Timestamps. Hell, I even added transitions and dramatic music because I'm that level of petty now. Then, I transferred it to a USB and quietly asked my cousin, he's a tech guy, to help me surprise my husband with a cute presentation at the party. I told him it was a thank you slideshow for our friends and family. He smiled and said, you're so sweet. I am. Just not in the way he thinks. Step 2. Keep cool and let the liars squirm. The morning of the party, I acted like nothing was wrong. I kissed my husband, told him how excited I was. Even picked out his outfit for him. He looked so proud, so smug, like he thought he'd won. That made me even more determined to gut him emotionally by sundown. When we arrived at my parents' backyard, it was already full of people. Everyone hugging, drinking, laughing. I made my rounds, accepted compliments, took selfies with a few guests. And then, she showed up. Cassie, wearing a white sundress. Yes, white. At my post-wedding party. The audacity should be illegal. She acted like nothing was wrong. Hugged me. Told me I looked radiant. I just smiled and said, you too. Must be the afterglow of stolen love. She laughed. Didn't even catch it. My God. Step 3. Showtime. Right after dinner, my cousin got everyone's attention. Okay, everyone. The bride put together a little video to thank you all for coming. Let's give her the floor. Everyone clapped. I took the mic. My husband wrapped his arm around me, grinning like an idiot. I looked at him and smiled back. This is dedicated to all the people who love us, especially those who loved us a little too much. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. And then, it played. At first, people were confused. A few chuckled awkwardly. The first slide was sweet, a group photo from the bachelorette party. Then the tone shifted. Cassie, sitting on my husband's lap. My husband, shirtless, in what was very obviously our bedroom. Them kissing in a car. A text from him saying, if she finds out, I'll lose everything. You're the one I really want. Gasps. Real, audible gasps. Chairs shifted. One guy choked on his drink. I watched her face drain of all color. My husband stood up slowly, like he was trying to decide if running would help. Then came the video. His voice loud and clear, telling her how marrying me was just what he had to do, and that someday we'll be together for real. The silence was deafening. And then? I spoke. For those of you confused, yes, that's my husband. And yes, that's Cassie, my bridesmaid, my friend, my sister. While I was planning our wedding, they were planning secret hotel meetups. While I was picking out floral arrangements, they were sending each other pics I'd rather bleach from my brain. Cassie started crying. My husband kept saying, this isn't what it looks like. No, sweetheart, I cut in. It's exactly what it looks like. And now everyone knows. I turned to my mom and said, I'll send someone to pick up the rest of my stuff. I'm done. Dropped the mic, walked out. To applause. Bonus? Ryan texted me later that night. That was savage. I owe you a drink. I replied. You owe me too. One for keeping your mouth shut and one for finally opening it. But it's not over yet. You know that calm after a storm? When everything's quiet, but the air still feels electric and kind of dangerous. Yeah, that was me the next day. After dropping the biggest truth bomb this town's ever seen, I woke up at my friend's place, wrapped in a blanket burrito with no husband, no marriage, no fake friendships left, and no regrets. My phone was exploding. Missed calls, texts, DMs, voicemails. Everyone had something to say. Cassie had the nerve to message me 4 times. Her final text? Please don't ruin my life over a mistake. Girl, you ruined your own life the moment you climbed into my man's bed. I didn't respond. My now ex-husband? Left 7 voicemails, ranging from, please let me explain, to this isn't fair, to you're making a scene. Buddy, the scene was the marriage. I'm just doing the cleanup. And cleanup, oh boy, did I do. Fallout number 1, the family split. My mom was horrified. She wanted to call the priest and get the marriage annulled yesterday. My dad? Let's just say he offered to help dispose of a body in his own charming dad way. Meanwhile, Cassie's parents, who were friends with mine, cut her off. Her mom called mine sobbing, apologizing over and over. My mom didn't say much, just, your daughter made her bed. She can cry in it. Cassie's been ghosting social media since. Deleted her Instagram. Turned off comments on Facebook. I heard she tried to go to a friend's baby shower and someone booed her. Yeah, booed. Fallout number 2, him. So here's the twist. He didn't even try to fight for me. Not really. After the failed calls and messages, he sent me an email, LOL, with this gem of a line. I didn't mean for it to happen, but Cassie understands me in a way you never did. My response? Perfect. Now you two can understand each other in debt, shame, and STDs. No reply after that. Shocking. Oh, and remember that apartment we shared? I gave our landlord the full story. Guess who's now moving out solo with a higher rent and no furniture? Not me. Fallout number 3, me? I'm thriving. I filed for an annulment within a week. Turns out, infidelity before and during the wedding counts as grounds for a quick exit. Lawyers were sympathetic. The woman at the courthouse literally high-fived me after I showed her the presentation. I even got some of the wedding costs back. A bunch of friends and family pitched in for what I lost, some out of sympathy, some because they were just that impressed. People still message me to say they've never seen anyone handle betrayal with such savage grace. And yeah, I'm a little bitter. I probably will be for a while. But I'm not broken. I'm free. So if you're reading this and you're feeling that pit in your stomach, the one that tells you something's off, trust it. Check the phone. Watch the body language. Ask the hard questions. And if you find yourself in the same position I was in, don't just cry. Burn the whole damn lie down. Because no one gets to betray you and walk away smiling. Not in my world.